Hello, dear guests. Welcome to St. Petersburg. We are in the heart of our city, the Palace Square. Behind me, the former residence of Russian royal family, Winter Palace. Nowadays, it's the Hermitage, the biggest museum in Russia. You are always welcomed to visit this museum. We are in front of new Hermitage building, the part of Russian Hermitage Museum. It was built exactly for keeping museum collections, and it was the first Russian building which was constructed by architect Leo von Klenz, who was very famous in Europe that time, exactly for construction of museum buildings in Europe. The new Hermitage building is decorated with magnificent portico with 10 atlases who are holding the building. There is a very famous city legend. If you want your wish come true, you should come to your favorite atlas, take the big tool, look into the eye and make your wish in your mind. So it makes your wish come true. Try it if you want. We are nearby the Winter Canal. This canal goes straight to Neva River. And there is a very interesting fact about this arch just behind me. It was built by the architect Quarengi in the time of Catherine the Great. And actually, Quarengi had a lot of enemies who were trying to make bad rumors about this arch in front of Catherine the Great. They told that the arch is very weak and it could fall down at any moment. So Catherine the Great, she didn't believe to these rumors, and she decided to make a great fast inside this arch to prove that the arch is very strong. And as we can see, it was a very good idea, because right now this arch is one of the symbols of our city, of St. Petersburg. We are on the Palace embankment, the main embankment of our city, where you can find the Winter Palace and different palaces of the members of royal family. Over there behind me, there is a palace bridge, the main bridge of the city, which connects two parts: business part, Speed of Basil Island, and Winter Palace. And just behind me, there is the birthplace of St. Petersburg, Peter and Paul Fortress, which was founded in 1703 by Peter the Great, our great emperor. Behind me, there is the Peter and Paul Fortress, the birthplace of our city, and it is situated on a very small island. The name is Hare Island. There are a lot of legends about it, that the Peter the Great, when first came to this part of the city wasn't exist at that time yet. So he wanted to build the town on this place. And he was looking for a best place for his fortress, because that time was the Northern War with Sweden. So he saw on the map this small island, and he understood that it's perfectly well for building the fortress. St. Isaac Cathedral, the biggest Orthodox cathedral in St. Petersburg. It was built in the middle of 19th century by the French architect Auguste Montferrand. It was built for 40 years, so I could definitely say that this cathedral is the symbol of Russian labor, of Russian workers' labor. This monument, this cathedral is decorated with 43 different kinds of stones. It is decorated with sculptures, with columns which are made of solid piece of granite. And they were established, they were put just by their own weight. Could you imagine it? And all of them, they were made in 19th century without any of the modern technique, just by the humans. St. Isaac Cathedral, as you can see it right now, is the first cathedral on that place. All it started with a very small wooden church named after Saint Isaac, which was built exactly for the second wedding of Peter the Great. This cathedral, as you can see, the huge size of the cathedral is one of the biggest monuments, one of the biggest cathedrals in the world. I want to tell you one fact about this golden dome. For this dome was used for 100 kilograms of gold to gild it. Can you imagine how much money they spent on it? We are in front of one of the symbols of our city, the Bronze Horseman. The Bronze Horseman is the monument of Peter the Great. It was erected by the order of Empress Catherine the Great. She wanted to show her connection, her political course with the political course of Peter the Great. Yeah? And this monument was made by the very famous French sculptor Falconet. There is a very interesting fact about this monument. If you look closer into the eyes of Peter the Great, you can see the small hearts inside of them. There is a legend that these hearts were made by the helper of Falconet, the girl named Anne Calotte. She was falling in love with her chef, and by this fact she wanted to show her feelings to him. It's a very interesting fact about this monument. We are on the Art Square in the middle of St. Petersburg. Art Square is the place where you can find different buildings which are straightly connected with the art. For example, the big Philharmonic Hall, the Michael Theatre, the Ethnographical Museum, and of course, the Michael Palace, which is straight behind me. Michael Palace is the modern Russian museum where you can find a lot of different pieces of art of Russian culture. And in the middle of the square you can find the statue of the greatest Russian writer, the great Alexander Pushkin is over there. There is the Cathedral the Savior on a Spilled Blood. This cathedral was built on a place where in 1881 was killed the Russian Tsar Alexander II. His son, the next emperor Alexander III, ordered to build the cathedral in memory of his father. So the cathedral was built in a very interesting style of traditional Russian architecture with a lot of domes, colorful stones and decoration. Inside it's a very amazing interiors, full of mosaic. So it's the biggest square of mosaic in the world. All the walls, columns are covered with this material. But the history of this cathedral is quite sad, because after the revolution of 1917, the cathedral was closed and it was used as the warehouse. During the 900 days of siege of Leningrad, it was used as the morgue. So can you imagine what condition was it after the war? So after the war, the government decided to reconstruct the cathedral, and reconstruction was lasting for many years, almost until 1990s. After the reconstruction, the cathedral was opened, and right now it's one of the most colorful and most beautiful places and symbols of St. Petersburg. So I would recommend you definitely to come and visit this place. This is the Faberge Museum. The museum is located in the center of St. Petersburg, in the former Shuvalov's Palace on the Fontanka River. The museum collection contains more than 4,000 different items, including gold, silver items, including bronze and paintings and porcelain. But the highlight of the collection is the group of 9 imperial Easter eggs made by Karl Faberge for 2 last Russian Tsars. It is the Zinger House, the first skyscraper of St. Petersburg. It was built as the head office of Zinger Company in our city, but the revolution of 1917 changed everything. This building was used as the publishing house, and in 1930s it was a bookstore. Right now we know it as the bookstore, the house of books, and you can always go there, read some books, maybe you can even buy some, and there is a place where you can have some snacks.